What is going on, everyone? Welcome to week 2. I'm doing this series where I'm basically taking you all through my personal fitness goals for the year in order to help you all, if you have similar goals, to increase strength, increase lean muscle mass, and decrease body fat at the same time. Because according to my body fat test last week, we determined that I need to drop some body fat. So anyway, we're going to be doing this series to show you guys all the information, essentially everything that I'm doing, and just we're handing it out to you guys to use as well. If these are some of your similar goals, if they're not, seriously, let me know below, because I want to be able to cover stuff that's useful for you guys. So let me know what your fitness goals are below. But for this week, this is like my favorite thing to talk about. It is all going to be about nutrition. And I know that a lot of you guys struggle to find like what to do because there's so much information, right? Like online, there's tons of information. Like you could be vegan, you can be keto, you can be paleo, you can do all these things. And like, I'm not even just saying this, I feel like I have tried it all. Like I was vegan for 2 years. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you guys knew that. And I'm not hating on the vegans. I love you guys. I actually love vegan restaurants. So I'm not trying to be a hypocrite, but I have found what works for me. There's a million things that are out there that work for others, so I'm not hating on whatever works for you. However, what I will be talking about on this series is not only nutrition that is gonna help you perform better and, you know, look better, because those are, I feel, byproducts of fueling yourself properly. The main thing that I find important with nutrition is for sure overall health. Making sure that your hormones are happy, that you have energy, all this stuff that I wish I would have known like 6 years ago when I started in this, because I have been at a point where my body looks great, but my energy completely sucks. And now I'm not about that life. I want to feel my best every single day. I want to have good brain function. I want my hormones to be happy, and I want to have a period every month. So I know that I put it all out there, but anyway, so if you're like this as well, ladies, I know you feel me, you're going to want to tune into this, because Malcolm is going to talk to us like about so much really good information, again, to have those hormones and everything functioning properly, so that you are performing in the gym, you are achieving your goals, and you're also feeling your best throughout the process, right?
Sweet.
So let's do it. I actually got my meal plan last week from Malcolm. So we're gonna take you guys briefly through what that looks like and why it looks that way for the first phase. So again, we're gonna take you guys through this meal plan. I loved it because one of the reasons why I am working with Malcolm is because we share very similar beliefs. You have way more extensive knowledge, and that's what I love, because I can actually learn, and we can put this very like sciencey specific info out to the world, which I love. But I do want to say that for the longest time, those that follow me on social media know that I always say like my first meal, I'm not a big fan of starting it with carbs. So the reason, again, is for energy function and brain function, all that stuff. Can you kind of elaborate on why it's better to start?
So her meal one has some protein in it with a good source of healthy fats, and a serving of low glycemic fruit. So it could be berries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, whatever she wants for the morning. And the reason why it's set up that way is she has a selection of proteins that are a little darker in color as far as the meat goes. So it might be like a salmon, it could be bison, it could be some steak, and those sources of protein actually increase acetylcholine and dopamine in the brain, and those are two neurotransmitters that you want elevated first thing in the morning and prior to training, because they improve mental acuity, drive, motivation, retention. So things that you want elevated first thing in the morning, especially if you have a job or if you're, in different business executive kind of
like if you have to have like you gotta
have your brain, you gotta have your brain turned on. Or even if you're just training, you want to have that focus. So the protein sources do that, and then the fat sources help with satiety. So they give you a feeling of fullness, and it stabilizes your blood sugar. When we have carbohydrates first thing in the morning, you can get a massive spike in blood sugar, which around 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, you're going to feel that crash as the blood sugar comes down, as insulin is released to come in and moderate the blood sugar. So instead of playing around with that yo-yo effect of insulin, especially when the goal is to lose some body fat as well as gain strength, we want to make sure that we're managing blood sugar throughout the day. So that's why the majority of her nutrition is focused around solid protein sources, as well as good sources of healthy fats and lots of omega-3s.
Yeah.
And then tons of vegetables that has good sources of dietary fiber in it, and then fruits in the form of lower glycemic fruits like the berry family.
Yeah.
Thinner skinned, that contain tons of antioxidants, and they don't manipulate your blood sugar like
because of the fiber, right?
Yeah. So.
Mainly.
The thinner the skin of the fruit, the higher the antioxidant content.
Oh, I never knew that.
The lower the glycemic index. So it doesn't raise blood sugar as fast as, let's say, a banana.
Yes.
Thicker skin fruits like banana, pineapple, mango are going to raise blood sugar through the roof, which might be great as a post-workout source of nutrition.
We'll get into like why we want to kind of essentially spike it post-workout, right?
Totally. Yeah. So the majority of her meals and why it's laid out that way is also her skin fold caliper test on her back, right on her shoulder blade, is indicative of her genetic tolerance to carbohydrates, and anything over 10 millimeters, typically they're not, individuals do not do well on a lot of carbohydrates, and hers was that case. And she told me prior to us even meeting and doing it was that she doesn't do well on carbs. So that's just an indicator of how we can individualize your nutrition for your specific body, your specific goals, on top of making sure that we're recovering properly.
I love that.
And improving performance in the gym.
And that's why, like, there's different things that are going to work with different people. And if you're watching this, like, one of the easiest ways to, I guess, find out what your tolerance to carbs is if you naturally carry a lot of fat, like in your back and midsection, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so it's going to be typically it's going to be on the upper back, kind of where your shoulder blade is, and the lower portion of that, and then on the side of your hip.
Okay.
So your hip crest is indicative of insulin management, and the higher the skin fold on that is going to be indicative of higher fasting glucose and higher insulin.
Wow.
So individuals, let's say, who are type 2 diabetics might have like a higher what's called hemoglobin A1C, and that is going to determine if they're going to be diabetic or not. So the higher the hemoglobin A1C, the greater the risk for diabetes. So that is indicative of your skin fold caliper test on the side of your hip.
Okay, and what about the legs? Because I know the back of my thighs were, I didn't know this, but they're apparently like pretty high up there.
So that was out of all your skin fold caliper tests, your hamstring was the highest. Toxic. And that's related to endogenous and exogenous toxins. So
that's right, but how would we manage
estrogens.
The nutrition in regards to nutrition?
Okay, so that's where
the estrogen in regards to nutrition.
That's where like all the cruciferous vegetables are going to come in.
That's right.
Because cruciferous vegetables contain sulforaphane, and sulforaphane is a very potent detoxifier of estrogens from chemicals and then the endogenous estrogens that your body produces. So
the ladies that carry, like if you find yourself carrying a lot of fat in the back of your thighs, which most women do because we have higher levels of estrogen, and if you have cellulite and stuff like that, you might want to look into properly managing your estrogen. Like there's stuff like Estrogen Control that is completely safe, like it's on the market for a reason, and what it does is basically like it manages your healthy estrogen, right? Yeah, exactly. So this has a compounded sulforaphane in it. That's what it. From the cruciferous vegetables, that's where I was broccoli extract, but also has DIM, and then it also has calcium D-glucarate. So those three combined will help with proper estrogen detoxification to make sure that you're going down the right pathway so it doesn't get stuck on the pathways that you don't want that can promote cancer cells to grow. Oh, wow. Yeah. Got it. And we were actually like laying out the products that I'm going to be using from ATP, and next week we're going to be going super deep into all of the supplements that I'm taking for my first phase, right? Yeah, exactly. But this week we want to focus mainly on nutrition so that we kind of, if not, we can talk for forever. Especially like me, I just talk too much. But yeah, so these are going to be next week, but one of them, like I said, Estrogen Control for the ladies that need that. I'm one of them. But anyway, continuing on to the nutrition portion.
Okay, one thing that I wanted to discuss that I have her doing first thing in the morning when she wakes up is she's doing the juice of 1 full lime in 8 ounces of water. So she's squeezing the lime or lemon into the water with a pinch of Himalayan salt, mixing it, slamming it back.
Chugging it. Literally, that's the first thing I've been doing. Before anything else. Boom.
The lemon and lime to taste is acidic, but on a cellular level, it's alkalizing. So from going to bed and waking up first thing in the morning, we're going to be acidic. So you want to get your body to neutral pH. And drinking a lemon or lime water will help do that. And then the Himalayan salt has minerals in it, so the salt has to be colored. So it could be like a Celtic salt like gray, it could be Hawaiian red or black salt, it could be a Himalayan pink salt. They all contain different amounts of trace minerals that are going to support the adrenal glands. So if you have a tough time waking up first thing in the morning, like you feel groggy or you hit the snooze button like 5 times and you can't get out of bed, the Himalayan salt will help charge the adrenal glands to produce cortisol so that it gives you that surge of energy to help get up and match the natural circadian rhythm of cortisol that we're supposed to have.
And for men and women,
both
across the board, obviously it's like good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Yeah, because I've been doing that, and I mean, it's been a week, but I've been feeling great. I came in today and I was like, I don't know if it's just me, but I already kind of like feel tighter. That's what 1 week of eating right can do. No lie. So, but let's continue. So basically, that's my meal 1. Initially, I had told you guys I was doing intermittent fasting. I honestly still kind of am because I have my last meal pretty early, like at 7:30, and then I'm not really hungry at night. So then I don't really eat until 9 a.m. So, I mean, it's not full on intermittent fasting, but I can't do the math in my head. That's like 12, 13 hours, 13 hours.
Yeah, you have a nice window of fasting.
It is. It's a good, and so I wake up hungry, and I will have the fruits on the days, obviously like the blueberries and stuff, on the days that I'm working out.
Yeah.
But on the days where I'm not, Malcolm has me actually having just fats and protein.
Just fats and protein. Yeah. So on the training days, we have a little more carbs around the training window. Not a whole lot, but enough to help with glycogen replenishment. And then on days that she's not lifting weights, we're solely just going to be vegetables, protein sources, and healthy fats.
And the thing is, I know it sounds restrictive, but it's actually like when you're consuming enough dietary, like healthy fats, you actually have plenty of energy, if anything more energy in my case, and I don't feel hungry at all. So, and again, you want to get volume from vegetables because that's what's, in my opinion, like the fats and the vegetables, like it's going to keep you full, and they're super good for you. All the vitamins.
Yeah, you get all the reason why it keeps you full is because all of the dietary fiber that comes with it, right? So even the dietary fiber helps with stabilizing blood sugar. Yeah. So when we're trying to lose body fat and we're trying to accelerate it, that's going to help dramatically. And supplements aren't like they're not necessary. Yeah. But when we're starting out, like even if you're just starting out on your weight loss journey, just focusing on like activity, physical activity, like in the weight room, and really trying to eat healthier, you're going to see great progress. If you want to accelerate it, that's where like the program design and the supplementation,
it's like the extra,
will really accelerate the progress of your training. Is it necessary? It's not, but it will help you.
It's if you want that extra push.
Exactly.
Where most of us, I also feel like we're not getting everything we need, or even just something as simple as protein. Like it helps me to have one of my meals just be protein powder because I don't want to have like an extra like chicken or like bison or whatever it is, just because for me it helps me, and I know that I need a little bit more lean protein in order to gain a little bit of lean mass. So it just, they help. They're just extras, like you said.
So how we have her proteins laid out is for every pound that she weighs, we're consuming about 1 gram of protein, and that's going to contain all of the essential amino acids that are necessary for building. So proteins are the only building macronutrient. You have proteins, you have carbohydrates, and you have fats. Carbohydrates and fats can be used for energy, whereas proteins are the building macronutrient. So think your hair, your nails, your eyes, your skin, your teeth, you need amino acids from protein sources, whether it's animal or it's something like plant-based, like an organic vegan blend from ATP, for example. They have a broad spectrum of pea, rice, and then hemp. So you do have all of the essential amino acids contained in that for optimal building of all of those things that occur on a daily basis from your body.
Yeah.
Now, when you're training more intense, right, your body has those amino acids that are going towards everything else. So if you don't have a little additional, it's going to be challenging to put on lean muscle mass.
For sure. Yeah, and that's one thing that when I was vegan, and again, seriously, vegans, I love you, because I know that whenever I mention vegan stuff, like, I'll get some comments. But when I was vegan, the thing that I struggled with was not getting enough protein. And of course, plant-based sources, like you said, there is protein. You just have to be very mindful of the choices that and the combinations that you make, and make sure that you're taking something like a supplement would actually be very useful in a vegan's case that's trying to put lean muscle. And back then I didn't know about that, so I would try to get it all from like broccoli, and that's a lot of broccoli. So anyway, something like the organic vegan blend from ATP is what I use. Just sits better on my stomach than whey. Sometimes I'll use whey, but for the most part I love it, and the taste is really good and everything. So it's good. So yeah, the way we have it laid out is that I'll have my first meal, and then I typically train around 11 a.m. So the breakfast meal, since I have it at 9, it sustains my energy levels, and like I'm super satisfied until I train. But right before training, there's some supplements that we'll talk about next week, but then also the MCT oil.
The MCT
oil. I love MCT oil. Like, if there's one thing that I feel over the past 6 months that I've added in my life, that I actually just, again, brain function wise, energy, everything that I love having in my coffee is the MCT oil. So that's what I'll have pre-workout right now.
So what we have in her pre-workout kind of stack is MCT oil, and MCT oil is medium chain triglycerides from coconut oil, combined with a supplement from ATP called adipolytic. And adipolytic contains a bunch of different nutrients that help with energy metabolism, stabilizing blood sugar, and promoting weight loss. One key nutrient in there that I really like is L-carnitine tartrate, and that helps with transporting the fatty acids from the medium chain triglycerides into the mitochondria. The mitochondria are your energy producing organelles in your muscle cells. So when we have a pretty high omega-3 content in her diet from her healthy fats, those healthy fats are actually mobilize those fatty acids into the bloodstream, and then the carnitine transports it into the mitochondria to be used as energy. So on the broad spectrum, you're essentially teaching your body to use fats as your fuel source.
Yeah. Which if your diet is higher in dietary fats, which is already healthier, you're just having the L-carnitine basically take that fat and be like, here it is for energy. Use it for your workout, right?
Totally.
Essentially. Do you guys like how I dumbed that down? Anyway, but yeah, so that is what I had right before working out. Last but not least, we're going to talk about post-workout nutrition, and then we're actually going to work out and show you guys the workout today. But I briefly spoke about this the other day, and I made a post about it. You can check my Instagram. But again, because everything has to be depending on your goals, right? And if one of your goals is to gain lean muscle mass, you always want to make sure that you're replenishing your glycogen stores post-workout by having carbohydrates. So even if you have a higher fat kind of diet like I do with proteins and stuff, post-workout you don't want to have fat and protein, because fat is going to slow down the protein absorption. And you want to have something as carbohydrates to replenish your muscle glycogen, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So in her post-workout shake, we actually have her choice of protein that she wants to consume. And then we're also using some glutamine. And what's interesting about glutamine is that it's an adaptogenic amino acid. So whatever your body needs kind of at that moment, it's going to convert into. And what's unique about it is that it can actually convert into glycogen in the muscle cells and the liver. So post-workout, we take some glutamine, and then her next meal is going to contain a little bit of carbohydrates. Yeah. And the carbohydrates are still going to be lower glycemic, so we're not going to be spiking it too high as far as higher glycemic options. It'll be sources of like
I usually have quinoa or sweet potato.
Sweet potato. Again, maybe some fruit if she doesn't want to consume heavier carbohydrates. And then we're also going to be containing a white protein source. So with the white protein sources, they contain lower amounts of saturated fats. So when we consume carbohydrates, saturated fats can blunt actual...
Oh, because the fat source is going to slow down the absorption, right?
Yeah, and post-workout, you're going to want those carbohydrates, like you're going to want insulin to take those carbohydrates in your bloodstream and shuttle them into your cells. So we don't want to stop that process because that'll speed up our recovery and help with building muscle mass. So that's the whole sense.
And for recovery in general, right? Because obviously you want the muscle growth, but also you want to be able to come back to your workouts faster, because that's also going to make sure that you're putting on lean muscle mass, you know, that you can come back and go at it hard again. So that's why, for recovery purposes, think carbs, protein, they get shuttled into, well, the carbs get shuttled into your muscle, and the amino acids do too. That's right. And then you recover with that.
Yeah, and the reason why we're having a shake though is that your digestive system doesn't have to break it down.
Oh yeah, right
away post workout, we're having some glutamine. We're gonna have some of the myoprime.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the glutamate, and then readily absorbed into the bloodstream. And then about an hour to an hour and a half later, we'll have our protein source with our carbohydrate.
And that way you don't have to be like Tupperware in hand, like post-workout. You want to, something simple.
And with the way that we're training pretty intense. Like, we're trying to make progress every single workout. So if you can't make progress from workout to workout, then there's something wrong. And most of the time, it's the recovery is impaired through the nutrition.
Totally.
So that's why it's set up a specific way, and that's called phase-specific nutrition based on her specific goals of her training phase that she's currently in. And when we move into the next phase, everything is going to change, from the supplements that she's using to the way that her nutrition is laid out, because it's a new training effect that we're going to have through that specific phase.
True. And then let me know, guys, if you want me like this exact meal plan, because we're going to go work out now, but if you want me to do like a day of eating, and then I'll take you through my entire day from like the lemon with salt in the morning to like pre-workout and intra and everything, like I could do it for you guys. I could do a vlog or something. So let me know if you want that. Comment below. But yeah, it's pretty awesome what nutrition can do, like to your energy levels and just in general. Like if you want to see results in the gym, it is, would you say 80 or 90% nutrition? I always say like 90. I feel like people could get more results through eating right than just solely like working out and not eating right. So anyway, 80.
Yeah, I've seen some really incredible changes just from nutrition with no weight training.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So yeah, once people really take control of the foods that they're putting in their bodies and realizing how it's affecting them on a daily basis,
totally,
they can see some really dramatic changes in a short period of time.
Agreed. And like for people that, when somebody asks me, where do you start? Because I've had clients too where you don't necessarily want to be like, here's a strict plan, but all I can say is try to focus on just eating natural foods that come from nature. So that's like vegetables, for me, I do eat meat. So I try to eat like organic meats and just things that are available in Mother Nature. Like Cheerios are not, like they're not from Mother Nature. You know what I mean? So this is just kind of an example, but just minimize the processed foods, increase more whole foods, and you're off to a good start, right?
Yeah, totally. Like, I guess the best question they could ask themselves is, did this food run, swim, fly, or it was grown in the ground?
That's a good one.
And if it didn't, don't eat it.
If it didn't, don't eat it.
Does a donut grow in the ground?
Yeah.
It doesn't,
exactly.
Right?
Maybe 90% don't eat it. 10%? 10% if it's your birthday, eat a donut. I'm just kidding. It was just Malcolm's birthday yesterday, I just found out. So I hope you had some donuts.
I had the flourless chocolate cake at True Food Kitchen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's a good choice. That's awesome. But anyway, we're gonna start working out, and make sure to look below, because this time I am going to write down the workout. This is a workout that Malcolm has been doing on Wednesdays, and it's going to kick my butt. So let's do it, guys. last week we also did leg curl, which of course we're focusing on that because that's kind of my problem-ish area, right? So, but the last time we did a different kind of foot positioning where I was like this and feet were basically turned in. So now,
yeah, so the reason why we are playing around with foot positions is we're actually going to be recruiting different fibers of the hamstrings. Yeah, so with the foot position turned in, we're going to be working the semi-membranosus, which is the most medial hamstring. Foot neutral, we're going to be working semi-tendinosus of the hamstring, which is the medial or the middle hamstring, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
So feet are neutral on this one, toes are pointed up in dorsiflexion, so calves are also activated, so we should get a little more strength out of that.
Oh, nice. And it's we always try to work at 8 reps, right? Is that right?
8 reps on the hamstrings or less is ideal based on the fiber composition of the hamstrings.
Okay, got it. Workout. That was pretty intense. I would say that I kind of feel like I'm getting a little bit stronger. Just muscle memory is getting back, which feels nice. But I'm gonna put the workout below. Make sure to try it. And next week we're gonna be trying an entirely new workout. But remember, there's a reason why we're supersetting upper body and lower body, and that's like for fat metabolism, or what is it for exactly?
It's to, so we're using the compound movements, which are going to have a higher recruitment of motor units.
Okay.
Increase lactic acid accumulation, short rest periods, so it's a German body composition program to accelerate fat loss.
Okay, so overall, in general, that's why we're doing the upper body and lower body. But tune in to next week because we're going to be talking about supplementation and all that stuff and all the extras in order to achieve your fitness goals. So if you have any other questions or anything you would like us to cover, leave a comment below. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best. Say bye to Malcolm too. And I'm like, camera. All right, bye.